You close your eyes and let yourself sink into the soft darkness of space. Around you, the stars shimmer in delicate patterns, their light traveling across millions of years to reach your gaze. Each flicker feels like a quiet pulse, a heartbeat of the cosmos, gentle and unwavering. You imagine drifting through this vast, silent expanse, weightless and unhurried, carried along by the invisible currents of gravity and time. The universe feels vast, yet it is intimate, as if every star and planet is part of a hidden symphony, and you are a listener, suspended in awe. Tiny motes of dust drift lazily past, barely visible, yet alive with history. These fragments are older than Earth itself, born in the violent deaths of stars long extinguished. Supernovae scattered their ashes across the void, and here you are, floating among them, tracing their delicate trails. You reach out with your mind, feeling the gentle touch of these particles as though they were soft feathers brushing against your fingertips. Each one carries a secret, a story of pressure, heat, and transformation over billions of years. You realize that these specks of cosmic dust are not inert, lifeless grains. They are the raw ingredients of worlds, of oceans, of mountains, of the very ground beneath your feet. Somewhere in their silent spinning, there are atoms that will one day form the core of planets, the veins of metals, the nutrients that life itself will consume and transform. It is humbling to think that you, a single observer, are witnessing the earliest whispers of all things that would follow. You imagine yourself as a traveler through time as well as space, reading the universe's diary in the language of light and matter. Each drifting particle is a letter, each cluster a sentence, each nebula a chapter. You sense the artistry of the cosmos, the patient unfolding of matter shaped by forces both immense and subtle. Gravity molds these fragments, guiding their journeys through the emptiness. Some will collide and merge, forming rocks that will wander the solar system for eons. Others may fall into the embrace of larger planets, contributing to the building blocks of atmospheres, oceans, and continents. You float quietly, listening to their stories, feeling the profound interconnectedness of all things. In your mind's eye, you trace the path of a single atom of iron, forged in the core of a massive star before it exploded in a blaze of light. It drifts across light years, crossing the vacuum of space, until it joins a tiny asteroid that might one day pass near Earth. You feel the atom's journey as if it were a gentle tide brushing over your consciousness. There is a poetry to this, a rhythm that is slow, deliberate, and unfathomably patient. You sense that time in the universe flows differently, not in a hurry but in quiet accumulation, where each moment is both fleeting and eternal. You let your thoughts wander further, imagining the birth of Earth itself. Millions of years ago, these cosmic specks began to coalesce, pulled together by gravity and chance. They collided softly and violently, merging into larger and larger clumps, slowly forming the planet you now call home. You can almost feel the heat and pressure, the molten oceans and drifting continents, all born from these quiet beginnings. You understand, on a deep level, that everything you see, everything you touch, was once part of this cosmic dust, ancient, wandering, patient. There is a subtle magic in this realization. The atoms in your body, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, were all part of that original stellar dust. You are, in a very literal sense, a child of the stars. This thought brings a soft, meditative awe, like the gentle rocking of a cradle. You feel a sense of calm belonging, of connection to something far larger than yourself. The universe is no longer distant, it is intimate, woven into the fabric of your being. As you drift further among the stars, you notice the faint glow of distant nebulae, clouds of gas and dust still forming new generations of stars. The colors are soft and fluid, like watercolor brushed across the canvas of space. Blues and indigos mingle with faint golds, each hue vibrating with quiet energy. You imagine tiny particles coalescing into new worlds, each one a possibility, a story waiting to unfold. The universe is endlessly creative, endlessly patient, and you are a gentle witness to its unfolding artistry. You feel the quiet pull of gravity from nearby celestial bodies, guiding you gently without urgency. The universe seems to breathe in slow, measured rhythms, and you align your breathing with it, inhaling the calmness, exhaling any restlessness. Every flicker of starlight, every drifting mote of dust, becomes a lullaby, a gentle song coaxing your mind into tranquility. You feel the weightlessness not only of your body but of your thoughts, as worries dissolve into the velvet dark of space. A subtle warmth spreads through your awareness as you contemplate the connection between these cosmic origins and the materials that build your world. You sense that everything tangible, rocks, metals, oceans, air, carries within it the echoes of distant stars. There is an elegance in this quiet continuity, a reminder that the cosmos does not rush, yet accomplishes the work of creation with unfathomable care. You float in reverie, imagining the journey of each speck of dust, the shaping of worlds, the patient rhythm of celestial time. And as your mind lingers among the drifting stardust, you feel a gentle curiosity stirring, curiosity about the wandering rocks and fragments that move through your solar system. You sense that beyond these quiet origins, there are treasures scattered across space, waiting for explorers, scientists, and dreamers. Questions rise softly. What paths do these asteroids take? What secrets do they carry? How might humanity learn to touch them without disturbing the cosmic balance? The stars stretch endlessly before you, and you sense that the journey has only just begun. Each particle you have met whispers of distant adventures, of hidden riches, and of the quiet poetry of matter in motion. You float gently onward, carried by the silent music of the cosmos, knowing that soon, you will trace the paths of these wandering treasures, reading the universe as one might read a gentle, infinite map. Softly, your awareness shifts toward the shapes and motions of these celestial travelers, inviting your mind to follow their subtle dance. And as your thoughts drift with the starlight, you feel the first threads of cosmic maps weaving through your imagination, guiding you gently into the mysteries that lie ahead. You open your mind and drift upward, leaving Earth's familiar blue haze behind. The night sky spreads like a vast canvas, sprinkled with innumerable points of light. Some shine with steady warmth, others flicker and tremble, distant beacons from the edges of time. As you settle into the quiet vastness, the stars begin to feel less like points and more like guides, gentle markers leading you along invisible paths. Each light traces an orbit, an ancient route through space, and in these courses lie the secrets of wandering rocks and hidden treasures. Your attention moves to the smaller travelers, asteroids scattered through the solar system. Some are clusters of rock, dense and dark, drifting silently in their elliptical passages. Others are icy bodies, shimmering faintly as they pass near the sun. You imagine them as letters on a cosmic page, each telling a story through its shape, rotation, and path. With patience, you learn to read their orbits, tracing arcs that have endured for millions of years, shaped by gravity and the gentle tug of planetary giants. Gravity becomes your teacher, invisible yet palpable. You sense how Jupiter's immense pull shepherds asteroids along, nudging them into resonance, while the sun's warmth guides icy bodies into distant swings. Orbits twist and turn like ribbons, some predictable, others chaotic and surprising. You float alongside these celestial travelers, noticing the rhythm of their motion, the harmony and occasional discord that keeps the solar system in delicate balance. Each path is a thread in an intricate, three-dimensional web, connecting worlds, matter, and time. You focus on a single asteroid, small and rugged, its surface marked by ancient collisions. Craters pocket its body like a soft, textured map, each depression a silent record of encounters that occurred long before humans could watch. You imagine following its orbit, measuring its trajectory, feeling the gentle tug of every planet, moon, and neighboring rock it passes. Slowly, a pattern emerges, a quiet story of its journey through the solar system. You realize that each asteroid is not just a rock, but a library of movement, a traveling archive of cosmic history. Your mind wanders to the notion of composition. Some asteroids are rich in metals like iron and nickel, while others carry rare, precious elements, remnants of stellar furnaces. You picture these materials floating inside the asteroid, hidden beneath layers of dust and rock, like treasures waiting to be discovered. Each mineral tells a story of the star it came from, the temperature it endured, and the forces that shaped it over eons. As you imagine the distribution of these elements, the solar system unfolds into a quiet treasure map, inviting careful study and gentle exploration. Patterns ripple through your thoughts as you consider families of asteroids. The Trojan clusters near Jupiter, moving in lockstep with the giant planet, seem like a slow, cosmic dance. The near-Earth asteroids trace more erratic, intimate paths, some swinging close to our home planet in silent, imperceptible visits. You sense a rhythm to these orbits, a flow that connects distant reaches to the neighborhoods of Earth. It feels almost meditative to watch, as if the universe is breathing softly, moving matter in a subtle choreography over billions of years. You begin to trace the paths with your imagination, drawing invisible lines between sun, planet, and rock. Some lines converge, predicting collisions and mergers. Others meander, tracing solitary voyages through the void. You feel yourself reading a language of geometry and time, where each angle and curve carries meaning. Slowly, a quiet understanding blooms that in this silent library, observation and patience are the keys, and that knowledge itself is a gentle, guiding hand. You imagine a spacecraft gliding alongside these asteroids, instruments scanning surfaces, analyzing spectra, measuring mass. Data flows silently, painting a picture of what lies within. Every observation is a note, every calculation a whisper of understanding. You feel the excitement of discovery not as urgency, but as calm curiosity, the thrill of reading the universe's handwriting without haste or expectation. As you drift through this map of wandering rocks, your mind begins to wonder, which of these travelers might one day be touched by human hands? Which contain materials essential for life, or the seeds of future worlds? You feel the promise of untapped potential, the quiet anticipation of human ingenuity meeting cosmic history. It is a promise wrapped in patience, in respect for the vastness and complexity of space, and in wonder at what might be revealed. The stars continue to twinkle, and the asteroids continue their silent passages. You follow a final orbit, tracing the path of a particularly curious rock as it swings close to Earth's neighborhood, its shadow brushing past the moon. And as you linger, your thoughts drift gently toward the metals and minerals locked inside these ancient travelers, waiting for the patient hands and thoughtful minds that will one day awaken their hidden potential. Softly, your curiosity begins to lead you forward, toward the stories of matter itself, and you feel the subtle pull of the treasures hidden within, whispering to you of what could be discovered. The asteroid drifts before you, a small, irregular body suspended in infinite space. You reach out with your mind, tracing its contours as though feeling the texture beneath your fingertips. Its surface is rough, pitted with countless tiny scars, each one a memory of collisions and encounters stretching across eons. You sense the composition beneath: iron, nickel, traces of platinum and cobalt, heavy elements forged in the heart of stars long extinguished. You feel their presence as a kind of quiet weight, a gentle reminder of the cosmos' patient creativity. You imagine the atoms themselves, forged under unimaginable pressure and heat, released into the void when their parent stars ended in brilliant supernovae. They float now, collected into the single, drifting body, carrying with them the story of their violent birth and long journey. Each particle is a memory, a fragment of stellar life condensed into a form you can almost hold, if only in imagination. There is a strange intimacy in this thought, as if the universe has pressed its history into your hands. You explore the interior of the asteroid in your mind's eye. Layers of rock and metal intertwine like delicate threads in a cosmic tapestry. You sense veins of iron winding through dense stone, flecks of nickel glinting faintly in the shadowy depths. Here and there, rarer metals shimmer subtly, hidden yet integral. You understand that these materials are not merely resources, but echoes of cosmic processes, waiting patiently to be discovered, understood, and gently harvested. Your attention drifts to platinum, so rare and precious on Earth. You picture it forming in the explosive crucibles of neutron star collisions, thrown across the void to settle in the asteroid's quiet heart. You sense the elegance of its presence, a silent reminder that the universe distributes value slowly and with careful intent. It is humbling to realize that what we call wealth, these shiny metals, are really cosmic artifacts, gifts from the stars that have traveled countless light years to reach this moment. As you float alongside the rock, you consider its journey through the solar system. It has wandered for millions of years, shaped by gravitational nudges, collisions, and slow rotations. Its surface has been polished by micro-impacts, scarred by cosmic debris, yet intact in its integrity. You feel a soft reverence for this quiet traveler, understanding that its history is intertwined with countless celestial events, each one leaving a subtle mark upon its form. You imagine touching the asteroid's surface with gentle instruments, robotic arms extending in slow, deliberate movements. Each scrape, each measurement, uncovers the story hidden within. You feel the thrill of discovery as though it is a soft vibration through your consciousness, a quiet satisfaction in learning the language of matter itself. Metals yield their secrets, not through force, but through careful observation, patience, and respect for the structure of the cosmos. Your mind moves deeper into the science of transformation. Iron and nickel may one day be extracted and purified, turned into materials to build spacecraft, stations, or cities among the stars. Platinum and other rare elements may power advanced technologies, enabling humanity to extend its presence across the solar system. Yet even as you consider this potential, the process feels less like conquest and more like collaboration, a quiet partnership between human ingenuity and the patient, unfolding work of the universe. You reflect on the scale of time required. The metals you see were formed over millions of years, traveling across the void before arriving in this small, floating world. Extraction, processing, and use are merely brief chapters in their long narrative. You sense the humility this perspective brings, understanding that human ambition is but a momentary note in the symphony of the cosmos. You feel a slow rhythm, a cadence of patience, as you trace these journeys in thought. The asteroid seems alive with quiet energy. You imagine microgravity shaping processes in ways impossible on Earth, allowing delicate materials to remain intact, untouched by the heavy pressures of planetary cores. Each metal particle floats almost freely, a miniature universe of possibilities. You see the subtle beauty in this, the poetic intersection of chemistry, physics, and cosmic history. It is as if the universe itself has laid out these treasures, awaiting gentle hands and attentive minds to reveal their full potential. And as you linger, you imagine the future, robotic explorers delicately harvesting metals, transporting them safely, humans learning to live among these silent travelers. You feel the quiet promise of abundance, a richness not merely in wealth but in knowledge, understanding, and connection to the cosmos. The asteroid drifts on, ancient yet alive in purpose, and you know that its story is only beginning to intertwine with ours. You drift alongside the asteroid, weightless, feeling the soft hum of instruments and machinery that move with deliberate grace. Space is silent, yet alive with subtle energy. There is no hurry here, time is measured by careful motion, by the patient rhythm of observation and gentle action. Each step of the extraction process is a meditation, a dance with the rock itself, a conversation conducted without words. You sense that to extract its treasures, one must first understand its temper, its history, and its quiet, enduring strength. Robotic arms stretch slowly toward the asteroid, their movements fluid and intentional. You feel each motion as a ripple of thought, a soft vibration through your consciousness. These machines are extensions of human curiosity, delicate yet purposeful, guided by careful calculations and intuitive knowledge. You imagine them caressing the asteroid's surface, brushing aside loose dust, probing tiny crevices, and gently lifting fragments of metal and rock without disturbance. There is a grace in this, a poetry of precision. You notice the drills, small and gentle, rotating at measured speeds. They do not tear, but rather whisper into the stone, coaxing layers apart with patience and care. You imagine the friction and resistance, the tiny vibrations transferred through microgravity, each one monitored and responded to with calm attentiveness. The goal is not force, but understanding, to reveal the asteroid's inner structure without fracturing its integrity. There is trust in this interaction, a quiet partnership between human design and cosmic history. The asteroid's surface is irregular, a mosaic of craters, ridges, and fractured veins. You float along each contour, noticing the subtle differences in texture and density. Some regions yield easily, releasing metallic fragments as if sighing in relief. Others resist, holding tight to their secrets. You sense the patience required, a gentle coaxing, repeated observation, and the steady accumulation of knowledge. Extraction is not a moment of triumph but a slow, attentive unfolding, where success is measured in the preservation of structure as much as in the collection of material. In your mind, you follow the journey of a single metal fragment. It begins as an atom deep within the asteroid, formed in the violent heart of a star, traveling billions of years through space. Now, it responds to the gentle pressure of a robotic grasp, lifted from its ancient bed without harm. You sense the continuity of time, the long mark from stellar birth to human discovery, and the humbling responsibility of touching something so old, so patient, without rushing. Extraction in microgravity is unlike anything on Earth. You imagine dust clouds floating freely, responding to the soft currents of airless space. Small fragments drift slowly, moving with surprising elegance, caught by nets or magnetic collectors. There is a rhythm to this, a choreography that requires anticipation, observation, and calm reflexes. Each piece retrieved feels like a soft victory, a quiet confirmation that patience and respect yield results without conflict. You reflect on the tools themselves. They are designed not for conquest but for harmony, drills that hum with gentle resonance, arms that bend with flexibility, sensors that listen more than they act. Every element of the operation is tuned to coexist with the asteroid, to minimize disruption while maximizing insight. You feel the subtle wisdom in this approach, understanding that space is a teacher of humility and patience, and that the first lesson in mining is to move slowly and with care. As you drift further, you consider the humans guiding these machines. Far below on Earth or aboard orbital stations, operators watch screens with quiet focus, learning the asteroid's language through telemetry and imagery. Each movement is calculated, rehearsed, and monitored, yet infused with intuitive judgment. You sense their presence as a calm, attentive energy, a human heartbeat echoing through wires and signals, joining with the mechanical grace that surrounds the asteroid. It is a partnership spanning distance and scale, connecting curiosity, patience, and technology in a gentle, purposeful rhythm. The process reveals more than just metals. As fragments are lifted, the asteroid's structure becomes clearer, veins of iron and nickel tracing silent patterns through the rock. You follow these veins like a painter's brushstroke, understanding the subtle artistry of cosmic formation. Each layer, each mineral, tells a story of pressure, heat, collision, and time. The act of extraction becomes a meditation on the elegance of matter itself, a chance to witness the delicate balance of forces that shape the solar system over billions of years. You imagine the collected materials moving slowly into storage, held in compartments designed to protect their purity and form. They float gently, suspended as if in a calm river, ready for the next stage of transformation. There is no haste, only the soft cadence of preparation, a mindful journey from discovery to utilization. You sense the universe's patience mirrored in these deliberate actions, each fragment handled as carefully as it has been formed. And as you observe the process, your mind drifts to the wider implications. Extraction is not merely the gathering of metals, it is an expression of respect for the cosmic past. Each motion, each choice, reflects an understanding that human ambition must be tempered by care, that the treasures of space are not merely resources but messages from the stars, preserved across incomprehensible distances of time. There is humility here, a quiet acknowledgement that success is measured not in speed or quantity, but in harmony, insight, and preservation. The asteroid floats silently, its secrets slowly revealed, and you feel a gentle excitement, tempered by reverence. You are aware that each fragment carries with it not only material value but a story, a history stretching back to the birth of the universe. In these moments of careful observation and extraction, you feel a profound connection to the cosmos, a sense that human curiosity can exist in balance with the silent, patient rhythms of space. And as the machinery continues its gentle work, you sense the next step awaiting, the transformation of these metals, from raw fragments to materials that can build new worlds. The thought drifts softly through your mind, carrying the promise of alchemy and creation, hinting at the ways matter itself will change and flow, waiting to serve new purposes under human guidance. You float beside the collected fragments, weightless and silent, feeling their quiet presence. In this stillness, you begin to sense the potential locked within each particle, the hidden energy waiting to be coaxed into new forms. The metals you have observed in their raw state are no longer inert. In your imagination, they begin to stir, reshaping and reorganizing under the subtle influence of forces both natural and human-guided. There is a soft rhythm here, a gentle choreography of transformation that feels almost alive. Microgravity becomes an artist's brush, allowing matter to flow and fold in ways impossible on Earth. You picture molten metal forming intricate shapes, droplets suspended and merging, guided by invisible currents and careful intervention. There is no rush, only the gradual unfolding of form, as if the universe itself has slowed down to show you the elegance of change. Each molecule moves with purpose, each atom finds its place, and the raw fragments begin to take on new identities. You imagine the heat applied to these metals as a patient, warming hand. Temperatures rise and fall with gentle precision, coaxing chemical bonds to rearrange, freeing elements that were once locked away. Iron and nickel soften and stretch, platinum glimmers as its crystalline structure aligns, cobalt shifts subtly under the influence of carefully controlled conditions. You feel the alchemy not as magic, but as the quiet artistry of physics and chemistry, a delicate dance that has been ongoing across the universe since the birth of stars. Time itself seems to stretch as you watch. What on earth would take hours, days, or years occurs here in a slow-motion meditation. You sense the continuity between the ancient processes that formed these elements in stellar cores and the gentle manipulation that allows them to become tools, structures, and components for distant stations. The past and present converge, a quiet bridge connecting cosmic history to human ingenuity. As you drift, your attention moves to subtle interactions, alloys forming, combinations of metals that create new strengths and properties. Each mixture is a soft compromise, a careful negotiation between different atoms, harmonizing differences to produce something more resilient, more versatile. You sense that this is not merely preparation for use, but a celebration of matter itself, honoring its inherent complexity while shaping it to new purposes. You consider the role of microgravity further. Without the constant pull of a planet beneath it, molten metals move in unexpected ways. Drops form spheres, layers spread evenly, and mixtures blend with exquisite uniformity. You picture delicate structures forming inside transparent crucibles, spinning slowly in the vacuum, their evolution visible as a quiet ballet. Each tiny change, each gentle shift, reflects both natural law and intentional guidance, a union of science and mindful observation. Your mind moves to the chemical bonds that govern these transformations. You feel them as gentle threads connecting atoms, stretching and twisting, breaking and reforming under the right conditions. The process is silent yet expressive, like a whispering of the universe itself. You sense the elegance of this invisible dance, the precision required to allow materials to reach their full potential without harm, and the quiet satisfaction in witnessing its unfolding. You imagine humans observing these transformations from afar. They measure, record, and adjust, but always with respect for the process, letting matter reveal its secrets in its own time. You sense the harmony between curiosity and patience, a reminder that knowledge is most profound when gained through careful observation rather than force. Extraction was a first step. Alchemy is the conversation that follows, a dialogue with the cosmos written in atoms and molecules. There is a poetry in the smallest changes. You watch as iron particles align in subtle lattices, nickel integrates seamlessly, and traces of platinum and cobalt shimmer like hidden stars. Microstructures form patterns reminiscent of constellations, reminding you that even in the tiniest scales, the universe echoes its vast beauty. You feel the calm satisfaction of understanding, of recognizing the invisible connections that bind matter across scales and distances. As you drift further, your imagination extends to the applications of these transformed materials. Metals once scattered across a silent asteroid now have the potential to become structural supports, circuits, and tools. Each particle is imbued with purpose, yet its history is preserved in every grain. You feel the quiet responsibility of guiding these transformations wisely, honoring both the natural processes that created them and the potential they hold for human innovation. You sense that this is not merely a technical procedure, but a meditation on transformation itself. The asteroid, once a solitary traveler, now becomes a source of collaboration, linking distant stars to human hands through careful manipulation of matter. You imagine the soft hum of machines, the gentle adjustments of temperature, the slow rotations of crucibles, all synchronized in a quiet rhythm of creation. The process is deliberate, contemplative, and infused with reverence. Time passes softly, measured not in minutes or hours, but in the unfolding of structure and alignment. You float among these suspended fragments, feeling their evolving forms, sensing the delicate balance between intervention and patience. Each adjustment, each observation, is a note in a long, gentle symphony. You feel your own awareness slowing, attuning to the rhythms of transformation, your thoughts floating alongside atoms as they find new positions and relationships. And as the metals settle into their new forms, you sense the quiet excitement of potential. The fragments have been awakened from their long slumber, ready to serve in distant stations, spacecraft, and structures that will extend human presence beyond Earth. You feel the subtle beauty of continuity, matter born in stars, transformed in space, ready to build the dreams of tomorrow. Softly, your mind drifts toward the structures that will be built from these materials, the orbital stations and sky-high cities that await them. You sense that this gentle alchemy is not the end, but a bridge from the quiet depths of space to human imagination and civilization. The story of the metals is just beginning to intertwine with the story of humans among the stars. You drift higher, leaving the asteroid behind, and the curvature of Earth spreads beneath you, soft and inviting. Above, a network of orbital stations and spacecraft glimmer like constellations suspended in the night sky. Each station is a delicate structure of metal and light, carefully engineered to exist in harmony with the rhythm of orbit. You float alongside them, feeling the quiet elegance of human ingenuity meeting the stillness of space. The stations are not crowded or chaotic, they breathe with space itself. Solar panels stretch outward like the wings of silent birds, capturing sunlight and channeling it into life support systems and gentle hums of energy. Observation decks shimmer, offering panoramic views of Earth's blues and greens, reminding you that humans can coexist with the cosmos rather than dominate it. You sense a deliberate, intentional design, every movement, every line of structure, guided by patience, necessity, and aesthetic grace. You imagine the humans aboard these stations, floating effortlessly, their movements slow and intentional. They live and work in a rhythm that mirrors the gentle rotation of the Earth below. In your mind's eye, they peer out at distant asteroids, watch robotic arms harvest metals, and guide spacecraft with subtle gestures. life here is deliberate, observant, and harmonized with the forces around them. Each person is both an observer and a participant, part of a delicate balance between technology, material, and cosmic awareness. Spacecraft glide silently between stations and asteroids, carrying materials, energy, and people. You drift beside one, feeling the gentle hum of its engines as it maneuvers with precision. The movement is so quiet, so deliberate, that you almost forget the vast emptiness surrounding it. Microgravity allows for elegance in motion, no strain, no rush, and you feel the rhythm of this orbital ballet as a calm, meditative presence that resonates through your mind. The architecture of the stations themselves seems alive with intention. Modules connect with subtle articulation, corridors curve gracefully, and compartments float in perfect alignment. There is no unnecessary weight, no chaotic clutter, only efficiency balanced with serenity. You sense the care poured into every choice, from the placement of lights to the calibration of air circulation. Everything exists to support life gently and sustainably, a soft reminder that human presence in space need not disturb the natural order. You imagine the interplay of materials harvested from asteroids. Metals once suspended in microgravity are now carefully integrated into the structures of these stations. Iron and nickel form the beams, platinum and cobalt support circuitry, and aluminum provides lightweight strength. You feel the quiet poetry of continuity, matter born in ancient stars, refined through careful alchemy, now serving life among the heavens. Each piece carries its history, yet participates in a new story, a collaborative dance between cosmos and civilization. The stations themselves rotate slowly to create artificial gravity, a gentle force that allows humans to walk, work, and sleep without strain. You feel the subtle interplay of physics, engineering, and human comfort, all merging into a serene, sustainable environment. Every rotation, every adjustment, is deliberate, a quiet choreography in orbit. You sense the elegance of this balance, and your mind drifts with it, floating among the modules as though you, too, belong in this slow, graceful orbit. Below, Earth turns silently, oceans and continents shifting imperceptibly. The sun casts long, golden streaks across cloud tops, while night falls gently over distant lands. You feel the contrast between this vibrant, living planet and the calm, mechanical serenity of the stations. Yet there is harmony in the contrast. One provides life and grounding, the other offers freedom and observation. Humans have found a way to bridge the two, and you sense the gentle satisfaction of achievement without haste or disruption. You notice docking bays where materials arrive from distant asteroids. Capsules float softly, guided into place by precise robotic arms. Energy pulses through subtle conduits, powering machinery, lights, and habitats. You sense the quiet choreography of life and technology, all flowing in measured rhythms. Observation decks show astronauts tracking distant celestial travelers, monitoring their orbits, and anticipating interactions. The flow is calm, intentional, and reassuring, a testament to patience and harmony. And as you glide past, you imagine the future cities these stations might support, vast orbital hubs, connected to one another, powered by harvested resources, and home to generations of humans learning to live in rhythm with space. You sense the promise of abundance, safety, and wonder, all suspended above the blue planet below. Yet even amid this serenity, a quiet question lingers: how will the energy captured from asteroids shape these distant lives? Softly, your awareness begins to drift toward the hum of power systems and the flow of energy between stations and distant asteroids, carrying you into the next phase of discovery. You float through the silent corridors of orbiting stations, feeling the pulse of energy flowing beneath your awareness. Here, power is not thunderous or visible as it is on Earth. It is gentle, a quiet presence that hums and flows like water through hidden channels. You sense sunlight captured by wide panels, transformed into electricity, guided with care to where it is needed most. The hum is reassuring, a subtle heartbeat connecting stations, spacecraft, and distant collectors in a calm, invisible web. From faraway asteroids, energy is coaxed from materials rich in sunlight or stored in advanced batteries. You feel the flow as if tracing a river in space, current moving slowly, steadily, with purpose. Each particle of energy is accounted for, monitored, and directed, a quiet symphony of power that sustains life and activity without disturbance. You notice the elegance of balance, supply meeting demand, nothing wasted, every joule preserved with mindful intent. Solar arrays shimmer softly, their surfaces reflecting the sun's glow across orbital stations. You imagine photons traveling billions of kilometers, finally striking these panels, their energy transformed into warmth, light, and motion. You sense the intimate connection between the sun and human activity, a subtle partnership bridging the vast distances of space. Energy is no longer abstract, it is a living thread, weaving together stations, machines, and people in rhythm and purpose. You imagine the spacecraft gliding between asteroids and stations, engines powered by harvested metals and energy flows. Their movement is quiet yet purposeful, each thrust calibrated to maintain harmony with orbits. You feel the subtle feedback of power systems responding to needs, accelerating or slowing with measured precision. Energy is not just a resource here, it is a gentle guide, shaping paths and enabling motion in a universe that does not rush. The stations themselves hum with life. Lights flicker softly in corridors, instruments process data, and environmental systems maintain air, pressure, and temperature. All of this is powered by the flow of energy captured and transmitted from distant rocks, sunlight, and carefully managed reserves. You feel the quiet satisfaction of connectivity, matter, energy, and human intention moving together in seamless harmony. Even waste is transformed. Excess energy is stored, conserved, or redirected to maintain balance. You imagine batteries humming quietly, capacitors absorbing impulses like a gentle tide. There is no rush, every fluctuation is anticipated and managed. The systems exist not to dominate but to support, to serve life gently while respecting the environment of space itself. As you float past observation decks, you watch engineers and operators monitor power flows, ensuring that energy reaches every corner of the stations. Their movements are calm, deliberate, and observant. You sense their mindfulness as they interact with these systems, knowing that their care ensures the comfort, safety, and life of all aboard. The presence of energy is no longer abstract, it is a quiet companion, a soft thread connecting human intention to the vastness beyond. You imagine the hum of power traveling through orbital networks, connecting one station to another. Beams of energy, subtle yet constant, flow along invisible conduits, linking human habitats in a delicate dance of supply and demand. You feel the rhythm of these flows, a quiet, repeating pattern, reassuring in its constancy. Energy becomes not only a necessity but a meditation, a reminder that balance and patience are as important as speed or volume. Beyond the stations, the asteroid harvesters continue their work. You sense energy being extracted, transformed, and stored with gentle precision. The metals you watched being lifted and refined now participate in powering the very stations that observe and guide them. There is a sense of continuity, a connection between distant celestial bodies and human presence in orbit. Energy flows, bridges, and pulses across space like a quiet river, linking worlds with invisible bonds of light and matter. And as you float in this gentle network of power, your mind drifts toward the possibilities, distant cities in orbit, spacecraft reaching farther, humans living beyond Earth's surface, all nourished by energy gathered from sunlight, asteroids, and ingenuity. You sense the infinite patience of the cosmos, mirrored in the careful guidance of energy across vast distances. The void itself seems alive, humming with potential, waiting for humanity to touch it with wisdom and care. Softly, your awareness begins to drift toward human ambition among the stars, not as conquest, but as quiet, careful expansion. You feel the threads of commerce and resourcefulness stretching from asteroid to station, from energy to material, and you sense the first hints of dreams forming in this gentle, illuminated void. You drift among the quiet web of trade and resources, feeling the invisible lines that connect Earth to orbiting stations, to distant asteroids, and to the far reaches of the solar system. These are not lines of paper or digital code, but subtle threads of value and purpose, carrying metals, energy, and ideas between worlds. You sense their flow as a gentle rhythm, a pattern that exists beneath the surface of activity, quiet yet persistent, guiding the decisions of humans and machines alike. Value here is measured not just in wealth, but in utility, possibility, and foresight. Iron and nickel are appreciated not merely as metals, but as instruments of construction and innovation. Platinum and cobalt are treasured for their capacity to power life-sustaining systems. Even the simplest minerals carry a weight of responsibility, and you feel the quiet deliberation of humans as they assign worth to these resources. Each decision is slow, careful, informed by knowledge, and tempered by respect for the materials themselves. You imagine the flow of materials along orbital routes. Robotic carriers move between stations, asteroid harvesters, and Earth, each journey calculated to conserve energy and minimize risk. Trade is a silent dance, orchestrated across vast distances, where patience and precision are paramount. You feel the delicate balance of supply and demand, not rushed, not pressured, but maintained with care and mindfulness. It is a form of commerce unlike any on Earth, deliberate, thoughtful, and in tune with the rhythms of the cosmos. The markets you imagine are quiet, contemplative spaces. Value is assessed slowly, over time and careful observation. Information about composition, abundance, and necessity flows gently, shared between scientists, engineers, and planners. There is no clamor or haste, no frantic speculation. You sense that the true goal is sustainability, balance, and foresight. The ambition of humans here is measured not in immediate gain, but in steady, thoughtful progress. You drift past stations where calculations of orbit, energy, and material converge to guide decision-making. Algorithms and human intuition work together, predicting needs, optimizing routes, and allocating resources with calm precision. Each asteroid's potential is assessed, its composition understood, and its value integrated into the broader network. You feel the quiet satisfaction of knowing that every action is deliberate, that the universe itself has guided this intricate system of trade, and that patience is the currency of success. Energy, too, flows along these invisible threads. Solar power harvested in orbit can be directed to stations, spacecraft, and industrial modules, supporting life and sustaining progress. You feel the subtle pulse of this energy, the rhythm of supply and demand, moving like a slow river between worlds. Human ambition is tempered by necessity and awareness. Energy is allocated thoughtfully, with an understanding that abundance must be nurtured, not squandered. You sense the interplay of scarcity and abundance. Rare metals, essential for life support and technology, are valued not only for their rarity but for the potential they unlock. Common metals, too, carry importance for construction, propulsion, and sustainability. You feel the balance between resources that are plentiful and those that are precious, and you sense the quiet satisfaction in harmonizing these flows, ensuring that human expansion is deliberate, sustainable, and in tune with the universe. The network of commerce extends beyond Earth and orbiting stations, reaching toward the asteroid belts and beyond. You imagine distant harvesters capturing metals and energy, sending them along carefully plotted courses toward human outposts. You feel the slow, patient pulse of trade, the gentle hum of anticipation, and the quiet expectation that every piece of matter and energy carries meaning, purpose, and potential. It is a system built not on haste, but on reverence for the cosmic balance. You imagine the human minds orchestrating these movements. They work with care, monitoring flows of material and energy, predicting needs, and ensuring balance. There is pride, but also humility, the knowledge that ambition must coexist with patience, foresight, and respect for forces greater than themselves. You sense that in this quiet, deliberate network, humans are learning to act with wisdom, to dream without haste, and to measure success not merely in profit, but in harmony and sustainability. As you drift along these threads, you feel the subtle influence of imagination and hope. Children on Earth gaze up at the night sky, dreaming of distant stations, asteroid harvests, and new civilizations. Scientists and engineers craft plans, slowly, carefully, understanding that each choice ripples across space and time. You sense the quiet, collective intention that guides human activity among the stars, curiosity, ambition, and care woven into every movement. And as you float through this vast, invisible web, you realize that the economic systems of space are more than trade. They are expressions of human patience, intelligence, and reverence. They are gentle experiments in balance, learning to harmonize desire with responsibility, technology with nature, and ambition with mindfulness. Each transaction, each allocation, is a quiet meditation on what it means to be human among the stars. Softly, your awareness drifts toward the challenges that lie ahead, the shadows, the risks, and the lessons waiting in the quiet expanse beyond. You sense that even amid careful planning, uncertainty remains, and that learning to navigate it will be as important as mastering trade and energy. You drift through the silent expanse, feeling the delicate presence of danger woven into the vast emptiness. Space is serene, yet filled with invisible perils. Tiny fragments of debris drift unpredictably, carrying enough energy to puncture the strongest shields. Radiation streams unobserved from the sun and distant stars, whispering through the void. And the very technology that supports life, the stations, spacecraft, and robotic harvesters, remains fragile, balanced on precise engineering and constant vigilance. You sense that adventure in space is an intimate conversation with risk, and that caution is a form of respect. Each asteroid carries its own story of collisions, pressures, and motion, and even as you float alongside them, you feel the unpredictability inherent in their paths. The slightest miscalculation, the smallest oversight, could send a fragment careening toward a station. You imagine operators scanning the void, calculating trajectories with patience and care, the silent tension tempered by calm observation. Danger is never immediate, it is always subtle, waiting quietly, and you feel the importance of mindfulness in each decision. You drift closer to an orbiting station and sense the fragility of its systems. The walls, though strong, are thin compared to the immensity surrounding them. Life support systems hum quietly, a soft heartbeat that sustains air, pressure, and warmth. One malfunction, one oversight, could disrupt this delicate balance. Yet you notice the meticulous design, the redundancy of systems, the careful monitoring, a testament to human foresight and ingenuity. Even amid risk, there is calm, deliberate preparation, a recognition that survival depends on awareness as much as on courage. Radiation passes silently through the void, invisible to your eyes but present in subtle energy fields. You imagine its journey from the sun, scattering across space, interacting with atoms and molecules, threading through the delicate habitats humans have created. You sense the caution taken to shield life, the gentle layers of protection that preserve the fragile balance of health and safety. In this quiet vigilance, you feel the humility required to exist beyond Earth, where the universe imposes its laws without negotiation. Even collisions with larger objects, once rare, are taken seriously. You imagine monitoring systems tracing every asteroid, moonlet, and piece of space debris, predicting potential impacts with calm precision. Automated warnings ripple through stations, giving operators time to adjust or maneuver. There is no panic here, only measured response, a serene dialogue with uncertainty. You feel the reassurance that care and preparation transform risk from fear into opportunity for reflection and mastery. The fragility of technology itself is ever present. Machinery floats in microgravity, operating under precise conditions. A misalignment of robotic arms, a software glitch, or a power fluctuation could halt operations. You sense the quiet attention given to maintenance, inspection, and redundancy. Every bolt, wire, and circuit is tended to as if it were part of a living organism, and you feel the profound patience required to sustain life and progress in such a demanding environment. As you drift, your mind considers the lessons embedded in these risks. You sense the universality of cause and effect, of preparation and consequence. humanity is reminded to move with gentleness, to respect forces greater than itself, and to anticipate the unpredictable. Curiosity here is inseparable from caution. Exploration is tempered by humility. You feel the weight of responsibility, yet it is not oppressive. It is a soft awareness that enhances your presence, sharpening attention while preserving serenity. You imagine astronauts and engineers floating alongside robotic harvesters, adjusting trajectories, repairing delicate instruments, and carefully aligning sensors. Each action is deliberate, informed by observation, data, and instinct. Mistakes are not punished with haste or panic but learned from with calm reflection. You sense the quiet confidence that comes from mastering systems through experience, patience, and respect. Knowledge becomes a shield, preparation a form of meditation, and every successful operation a gentle victory over uncertainty. Even the cosmic scale imposes lessons. The vast distances, slow orbits, and minute gravitational forces remind you that patience is necessary, that immediate gratification is impossible, and that the universe itself cannot be hurried. You sense a rhythm beyond human perception, a cycle of formation, motion, and transformation that spans millions of years. In recognizing this, you feel humility and awe, understanding that humans are small participants in a vast, intricate system, yet capable of careful influence and meaningful contribution. You float through the spaces between stations and asteroids, observing subtle shadows cast by distant moons and sunlight filtered through orbital structures. The shadows remind you that light and darkness coexist, that potential and risk are inseparable. You sense the metaphor in this. Curiosity shines brightest when guided by awareness, and exploration is most profound when balanced by attentiveness. Danger exists not to frighten, but to teach, to refine, and to deepen understanding. Even as systems fail or debris drifts unexpectedly, you feel a soft reassurance in the protocols and training established by human ingenuity. Contingencies are in place, resources allocated, and guidance available from multiple sources. You sense that resilience is not built through strength alone, but through careful planning, observation, and respect for natural forces. The cosmos imposes rules gently but insistently, and humans have learned to navigate them with measured grace. And as you drift further, you reflect on the collective lessons of risk and care. You realize that curiosity without caution would be reckless, that ambition without awareness would falter. Yet in embracing both and blending desire with mindfulness, exploration with respect, humans create a quiet harmony that allows life to thrive even in the demanding, unyielding environment of space. The journey itself becomes a meditation, a process of continuous learning, observation, and adaptation. You feel the weight of all that has been learned, the fragility of matter, the persistence of energy, the delicate interplay of materials, and the careful orchestration of human intention. Each lesson becomes a building block for the future, a soft guide for those who will follow. The cosmos, once intimidating, now feels like a patient teacher, offering knowledge through experience, trial, and quiet observation. You sense that humility, patience, and reverence are as essential as technology, skill, or knowledge in this realm. And as you float amidst these lessons, you sense the gentle anticipation of new beginnings. The risks you observe are not endpoints but signposts, guiding attention and shaping decisions for what lies ahead. You feel the first hints of hope, curiosity, and quiet ambition merging, preparing humanity for the next step in the journey, one where lessons of care and patience become the foundation for creation, growth, and exploration. You begin your gentle descent, leaving behind the vast network of orbital stations, spacecraft, and distant asteroids. The Earth grows larger beneath you, a soft, rotating sphere of blues, greens, and whites. Clouds drift lazily across oceans, mountains rise quietly from the land, and rivers meander through valleys as though time itself moves with deliberate calm. You feel the weight of what has been witnessed, the delicate extraction of metals, the alchemy of materials, the careful flow of energy, and the subtle dance of commerce and risk, all converging into a single thread of human potential. The first off-world industry, you realize, is more than mining or manufacturing. It is an expression of hope, a manifestation of curiosity tempered by reverence. Every fragment harvested, every transformation performed, every careful calculation made, reflects a commitment to understanding the universe without dominating it. You sense the quiet discipline that sustains this endeavor, the patience that allows progress to unfold gracefully, and the humility required to navigate a cosmos that is vast, ancient, and unforgiving. As you float closer, you imagine the children on Earth, gazing upward at the night sky. To them, these distant stations and asteroid harvests are not merely science, they are stories of possibility, dreams made tangible by the efforts of patient minds and careful hands. You feel the gentle excitement of their imaginations stirring, a quiet resonance that echoes across space. The stars themselves seem closer now, inviting wonder, curiosity, and the desire to explore without haste. The materials once locked in distant asteroids have traveled through careful extraction and transformation to become part of this broader narrative. Metals refined in microgravity now support orbital habitats, power systems, and spacecraft. Energy flows, harnessed and managed with mindfulness, sustain life and enable exploration. You sense the continuity of effort, the connection between distant rocks and human civilization, and the quiet elegance of this orchestration. Each particle carries its history, yet participates in a new story, a collaborative journey between stars and human imagination. You reflect on the lessons learned along the way. Patience is as valuable as ambition. Observation is as important as action. Curiosity must coexist with caution, and desire must be tempered by reverence. Each challenge encountered, from fragile technology to cosmic hazards, has shaped the wisdom guiding this first industry. You feel that knowledge here is not merely technical, but moral, philosophical, and deeply human. It is the cultivation of awareness and care, as much as skill and insight. As the atmosphere begins to appear, the Earth's curvature softens, and clouds form gentle layers beneath you. You imagine the orbital stations you visited floating serenely above, their occupants working in quiet harmony with technology and matter. Each module, each panel, each beam of energy represents a choice made with care, an exercise in mindfulness. You sense the intentionality behind every movement, the rhythm that connects distant objects and human activity in a calm, continuous flow. You drift over cities and countryside, feeling the contrast between life on Earth and life above. Here, gravity grounds humans and gives form to daily routines, while above, microgravity allows for innovation and experimentation in gentle, deliberate ways. Both realms are connected by the first steps of an industry that reaches beyond Earth, and you sense the profound interconnectedness of all these efforts. The pursuit of resources, knowledge, and exploration is not isolated, but woven into the larger tapestry of human existence. You imagine the first generation of off-world explorers reflecting on their work. They are aware that what they create is not only material but symbolic, the quiet proof that humans can act with curiosity, skill, and care simultaneously. Each decision, each task completed, resonates as a testament to patience, ingenuity, and humility. You sense their awareness that the true wealth of this industry is not just metals or energy, but experience, understanding, and the capacity to dream responsibly. The Earth below shifts slowly, and you feel the soft pull of gravity guiding your descent. The lessons of space, patience, balance, respect, and mindfulness accompany you. You realize that these lessons are the most valuable seeds planted by the first off-world industry. They are intangible yet enduring, capable of shaping generations of humans who will gaze at the stars and understand that exploration is not conquest, but dialogue, a conversation conducted with curiosity, care, and reverence. You imagine classrooms filled with young minds, their eyes wide with wonder as they learn about asteroid mining, orbital habitats, and energy flows across space. They see not only the science but the philosophy embedded in these endeavors, that knowledge and exploration are intertwined with responsibility and respect. You sense the quiet inspiration these stories provide, a gentle encouragement to imagine possibilities, question boundaries, and engage with the universe in mindful ways. Even as night falls across Earth, you feel the quiet hum of energy and activity continuing above. The stations, spacecraft, and robotic harvesters operate with calm precision, a soft pulse connecting distant asteroids to human life below. You sense the harmony of this network, the continuity of purpose, and the enduring patience that allows humanity to reach beyond itself without haste or disruption. It is a gentle reminder that progress need not be hurried, and that careful, thoughtful action can achieve wonders over time. And as you drift closer to the surface, you reflect on the first seeds planted in this journey. The materials, energy, and infrastructure are important, yes, but the true harvest is human imagination, care, and awareness. You feel the profound satisfaction of witnessing humanity extend its reach with wisdom, humility, and hope. The quiet lessons of space echo through every orbit, every station, every asteroid, guiding future endeavors with a gentle hand. Softly, you imagine the future stretching outward, stations growing, cities suspended in orbit, and distant asteroids becoming partners in human curiosity. Energy flows continuously, materials are transformed with care, and knowledge accumulates with patience. You sense that the seeds planted now of thoughtfulness, skill, and reverence will blossom into generations capable of dreaming beyond the confines of Earth, reaching for the stars with respect and wonder. And as you settle gently back toward the familiar embrace of Earth's surface, the quiet promise of possibility remains with you. You carry the whispers of distant rocks, the hum of energy, the delicate balance of trade, and the lessons of patience and humility. These are the seeds of the future, not merely for industry, or technology, or exploration, but for a human presence that honors the universe while daring to dream among its stars.